You've probably been there before. One day, she's warm and affectionate, texting you first, laughing at your jokes and making plans for the weekend. The next, she's distant, slow to reply, or suddenly seems uninterested. You replay every conversation, searching for clues. Did you say something wrong? Did her feelings change overnight? Most men get stuck in this cycle, frustrated and confused by what feels like a maze of mixed signals. But what if I told you that these signals aren't random at all? In fact, they're rooted in emotional triggers that most men never learn to recognize. Here's the truth. Women's emotional responses are shaped by a complex mix of biology, past experiences, and the energy you bring into every interaction. The mistake most men make is assuming that her signals are meant to confuse or test them. In reality, they're windows into what she's feeling beneath the surface. If you can learn to decode these signals, you'll not only avoid unnecessary drama, but you'll also become the kind of man who stands out, calm, confident, and deeply attractive. Let's start with a powerful contrast. When men feel uncertain, they often seek clarity through direct questions or logical explanations. But for women, emotions aren't always linear. Her mood can shift based on subtle cues, your tone of voice, your level of presence, or even how safe she feels in the moment. If you respond to her mixed signals with frustration or neediness, you reinforce her uncertainty. But if you respond with patience and curiosity, you create space for her to open up. So, what's really behind her mixed signals? The answer lies in understanding her emotional triggers, those invisible buttons that shape her reactions, often without her even realizing it. One of the biggest emotional triggers for women is the need for emotional safety. This isn't about physical safety or protection from danger. It's about feeling secure enough to be herself without fear of judgment or rejection. When she senses that you're genuinely present, listening without an agenda, and accepting of her feelings, she relaxes. Her signals become clearer, her affection more consistent. But when she feels judged, rushed, or misunderstood, her guard goes up. That's when the mixed signals start to appear. Here's the contrast. Imagine you're having a conversation and she suddenly grows quiet or distant. Most men panic or try to force the issue, asking, "What's wrong?" or "Did I do something?" This puts pressure on her to explain emotions she might not even fully understand herself. Instead, the men who stand out are the ones who give her space, who notice the shift and say, "I'm here if you want to talk," and then actually mean it. That simple act of patience is a powerful trigger for trust. Another common trigger is inconsistency. If your words and actions don't match up, she'll pick up on it instantly. Maybe you say you're interested, but your attention drifts when you're together, or you make plans but cancel at the last minute. These small inconsistencies create doubt, and doubt leads to mixed signals. Women are wired to notice these details, not because they're looking for flaws, but because consistency is a sign of reliability, and reliability is deeply attractive. So, if you want to decode her mixed signals, start by looking at your own behavior. Are you present? Are you consistent? Are you creating an environment where she feels safe to express herself, even when her emotions are messy or complicated? There's another layer to mixed signals that most men overlook: her past experiences. Every woman carries emotional memories from previous relationships, family dynamics, and even childhood. Sometimes when she pulls back or seems unpredictable, it's not about you at all. It's about old wounds being triggered. Maybe she's been let down before, or maybe she's learned to protect herself by not getting too close too quickly. If you react with frustration or take her distance personally, you risk reinforcing those old patterns. But if you respond with empathy and patience, you become the exception, the man who doesn't punish her for being human. Contrast this with the typical response. Most men, when faced with mixed signals, either chase harder or withdraw completely. Chasing can feel overwhelming to her, while withdrawing can confirm her fears of abandonment. The real solution is to stay steady. When she's hot and cold, don't mirror her inconsistency. Instead, show her that your interest isn't dependent on her mood. This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or neglect, but it does mean being emotionally mature enough to weather her storms without losing your own center.
Smooth transitions are key. If she's distant, don't immediately demand answers. Instead, gently check in. I noticed you seem a bit off today. Is there anything you want to talk about? If she says no, respect her space. If she opens up, listen without judgment or interruption. This approach builds trust over time, and trust is the antidote to mixed signals. Remember, her emotional triggers aren't obstacles, they're opportunities. Every time you respond with understanding instead of impatience, you teach her that it's safe to be real with you. That's how you move from confusion to connection and from mixed signals to genuine intimacy. Here's the final truth about decoding her mixed signals. It's not about having all the answers, but about being the man who's willing to stay present through uncertainty. When you stop seeing her emotional shifts as a problem to solve and start seeing them as invitations to connect, everything changes. She doesn't need you to fix her feelings or read her mind. She needs to know that you're steady, attentive, and genuinely interested in who she is beneath the surface. If you want to avoid the frustration that comes with mixed signals, focus on building emotional safety, consistency, and trust. Be the man who listens more than he speaks, who notices the small changes in her mood, and who responds with patience instead of pressure. When you do this, her signals will become clearer, her affection more reliable, and your connection deeper than you ever thought possible. So, next time you find yourself confused by her behavior, pause. Ask yourself if you're creating the kind of environment where she feels safe to be herself. Are you reacting to her emotions, or are you responding with understanding? Are you chasing clarity, or are you offering calm? The men who master this subtle art are the ones who stand out, not because they never get mixed signals, but because they know how to turn those moments into opportunities for real connection. Decoding her mixed signals isn't about playing games or memorizing tricks. It's about showing up as your best self, again and again, until she knows she can trust you with her heart. That's the truth about female emotional triggers, and it's the secret to building a relationship that lasts.